Thanks for joining me for another real world mile per gallon test, and this time we have the 2025 Volvo V60 plug-in hybrid T8 Polestar edition. This thing's super powerful, so fuel economy is supposed to be 31 for the engine and 74 mile per gallon equivalent for the electric portion. Combined, we should average today 45.9 miles per gallon. We'll see how close we get to that or if we surpass that. But before we go to the gas station and get filled up, let's take a quick look at this thing and then we'll get the test started. Okay, as you can see, this is a low riding wagon. Beautiful freaking car. I love the way that it looks. It is pretty low to the ground. This is the only one that is like that. The other ones are the cross country. They have about 8 inches of clearance. This only has about 5 inches of clearance, I believe, something like that. But you can see right here we have the Brembo brakes with the Polestar badging on there, and the gold brakes just look cool on here. Kind of matches the gold seat belts that you have inside. Come back to the back here. Just take a look at the back. And inside here, you have powered lift gate. You have about 18 cubic feet of space, so it's not massive back here, but once you drop that second row, then you get up to around 40 cubic feet of space. So that's a decent amount. Take a quick look at the space in the back. There you go. It looks like there's a decent amount of space back here. My niece sat back here last week and had plenty of room. All right, you can see the yellow or gold seat belts in this one. It's kind of the trademark of the Polestar editions. All right, here's a look at the front. Really nice, really comfortable. Okay, there's a quick look, guys. Okay, that's just a quick look. If you want to see more about this car, you can watch the full review that's up on the channel right now. Other than that, we're going to go to the gas station, get this test started. I will give you information about how we do the test, and I'll give you more information about this car on the drive. All right, let's get going. All right, we're here at the gas station, and we're going to get filled up now. Now, one thing we did check just now, and we do have premium fuel required. So that's what we are going to be putting in there. We'll be putting premium in. Just in case you're wondering, in Illinois, we've got $474 for 91, $384 for 89, and $299 for 87. All right, let's get it filled up. And here we go, premium. All right, there we are. We are filled up 1.5 gallon, a little over 1.5 gallons. All right, button that up and we can go get this stuff reset and get our test started. Super windy and very cold today. So this automatically starts up in pure mode. So we are going to run on electric and then it will switch over to gas when we run out. Down at the bottom here, you can see that we got 36 miles. We are full battery, 36 miles. It is rated at 39 EPA. We probably will get some more of that back as the battery and stuff warm up. It is so cold this morning that it's registering 36. We drove here to the gas station in Polestar mode, and had the battery set to charge. That way we didn't lose any battery on the way here. Okay, so we are filled up, 400 miles on the gas tank. You'll see that increase as we drive. It'll probably settle around 500 some miles total when we get moving. And 36 miles of electric I just talked about. What we're going to be looking at is right down here in this corner is what we're going to be following. So we're going to reset that right now. So we'll go over and reset. All right, we are completely reset and ready to get this test started. Okay, we're going to get going. We're going to start this test, and as we're going to our first town, I'm going to give you parameters of the test, and then I'll update you as we enter town. Okay, parameters of the test. Now, we have had hybrids on here before. We also have had plug-in hybrids. Sometimes they're a little bit different. With this one, you set it up to run in pure mode, which is their electric mode first. So when you turn that on, because ideally that's the way that you want to drive this car. If you don't set that up, it will divert to hybrid mode, and it will drive your car in electric when it needs to, but accelerating, it would kick in the engine to accelerate to get you up to speed, then would kick into electric when it's in cruising. So there's a few different functions it has there. But this one we have set up to run in pure mode to begin this drive. So once it runs out of electric, or the battery gets down to a point where it can only maneuver a hybrid system, then it will shut that off and it will turn on the engine, and then we will be basically driving in hybrid mode after that. And at that point, it will just be like a mild hybrid system where it'll just do your start stops, maybe under 20 miles an hour through town, that type of thing. But that's the way that's going to be set up. So that is the normal mode for this car. And then temperature inside the car will be set between 68 and 72 degrees. Today, right now we're set at 68 degrees. I do have the heated seats on, which I will turn off here in just a second because they are getting quite warm now. And I had the steering wheel on also because it is really cold outside, trying to warm my hands back up. That I will shut off during the drive also. The last thing for the car setup is going to be, or the way the car is being driven, is 5 miles an hour over the speed limit. That's the average speed that most people drive over the speed limit. So we're going to be 60 on the highway, between 35 and 50 in town, and 75 out on the interstate. Now for the test itself, we're going to drive 100 miles, drive 50 miles in one direction. We'll turn around and drive 50 miles in the exact opposite direction. During the first part of it, we're going to drive through 2 towns. In those 2 towns, we will drive loops through those towns. That way we hit stoplights, stop signs, and some traffic. Then we'll get up on the interstate. We'll drive about 10 to 12 miles in the interstate. At that point, we should be hitting right around our 50-mile mark, and then that's where we will turn around, and then we will head back. We'll do all of the same thing on the way back to the gas station. We'll go through those same 2 towns. We'll do loops through those same 2 towns, get back to the gas station. Then we get there, we'll fill up, we'll get our calculator out, and we will run old school calculations to see what the real world mile per gallon is, compare that to what the car is reporting, and also what the EPA says. Now, what I said earlier was the EPA has this rated at, with my calculations, EPA has this rated at 45.9 miles per gallon is what we should get today. So that's what we're going to be focusing on, and we'll see if my calculations were right or how close they were. So we are entering our first town. So I'm going to give you an update on where we're at, and then we'll drive a loop through this town, and I'll update you again afterwards. We have entered town, so I'm going to give you an update right now. One other thing that I did forget to mention is that this does have a B mode, which is regenerative braking. So we are driving with that on too. So we are recouping as much energy as we can for that battery. So right now we are at 4.9 miles and no mile per gallon register because we are still driving in electric. So we'll make a loop through this town, and then I will update you again as we get out onto the highway. We're back out on the highway after making that loop through town, and right now we are, sorry about the glare, we're driving into the sun, but we've got 8.4 miles driven and still no miles per gallon. We are still running on electric, and over here you can actually see we still got 24 miles of electric that we can drive. So we're doing really well. Now we're headed to our next town, and on the way I'm going to give you guys some more information about this V60 T8 Polestar. So if you can't tell by these gold seat belts here, this is a Polestar edition of the Volvo V60. And this thing is awesome. I mean, you have a total of 455 horsepower in a station wagon. This is awesome. And it's super comfortable. I mean, Volvo just makes some of the most comfortable cars. You just enjoy being in here. It's really nice. Now, this also gets 523 pound-feet of torque. So this thing will rocket. I mean, it is an absolute rocket. So what this encompasses is, we talked about it being a plug-in hybrid. And this also has a 2.0 liter turbo inline 4-cylinder. It puts out 318 horsepower by itself. 318 horsepower, 4-cylinder engine, all by itself. Then you add in the electric drive motor of 143 horsepower. There you go. You got your total 455. It is amazing, and you can feel every single bit of it. Now, the charging on this, you're looking at about 39 miles of electric range, which is what we are running through right now. It's called Pure Mode on Volvo, and it does really well. It's a smooth acceleration. Now, that you're not going to get that 455 horsepower out of just that electric motor, but it is enough to accelerate and get you moving. It's great for commutes, go back and forth to work and not have to spend any gas money. It's just excellent. So 39 miles is really, really good for commuting. The ride in here is super smooth. The seats are super comfortable. I'm leaning on Volvo having some of the best seats in the industry. I feel that Volvo overall has the best seats because every car is the same and they all are great seats and they're amazing. I have always liked the way that Volvo lays their stuff out. They've got a nice little screen in here. It's not big, it's not overpowering. It's ran on Google Automotive, so you can actually hook up your Google account on here and it'll pull up your maps and all of your stuff, and you don't have to have your phone connected for Android Auto or anything like that. It's just all will be right there. Bluetooth connection. It does have a CarPlay button on here, so you can connect to CarPlay also. Well, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about pricing on here, because here is the situation. Your pricing, there is no base model of the V60. The V60 is just the V60. It's one thing. It's the Polestar V60. And this is the low-riding wagon that has a lot of performance behind it. And it is going to start out at $71,250. The one that we're driving in right now, with all of its options and destination fee, it's coming in right at $72,835. So there's not much that you can add and change around on this thing. You can, I'm sure there are a few things, but this one that really didn't have anything else added to it. Now, if you want to save some money, the V60 Cross Country, you get a little bit higher ground clearance, and you still get 250 horsepower or 247 horsepower. That is going to start you out at right around $50,300. So that is a more budget-friendly option for you. But once you feel the power of this Polestar, you're just like, wow, this is what I want. Is it worth $20,000 more? That I'm not sure about. Okay, so we're going to be coming into our next town, so I am going to go ahead and give you an update where we're at, and then we'll make a loop through that town and hop up on the interstate. We've entered our second town, and so far we are at 29.8 miles with 0 mile per gallon so far, because we're still running off the battery, and it looks like we've got about 3 miles left of driving on just the battery before we get into the engine. So we're doing really well. We're going to make a loop through this town, hit some stoplights, some stop signs, use some regenerative braking, kind of pull some of that power back into that battery, and after we get done with that loop, I will give you an update before we hop up on the interstate. Just wanted to update you. The engine just did kick on, and we actually, it was like 32.9, 33 miles. We actually got out of the battery. Now, we were driving on some highway, but we did have a little bit of in-town driving. But you can see the miles per gallon right now is 1,174.3. A minute ago, it was up over 2,000 miles per gallon. So it's pretty interesting that it was showing that. Just wanted to show that to you guys also. Anyway, that's where we're at right now. We are now in hybrid mode. So for the rest of this drive, we made our loop through town. We're getting ready to get up on the interstate, and so far we've gone 36.4 miles and 195.7 miles per gallon. So we're doing awesome. All right, see, we're driving in hybrid mode now. You can see it stated right up top there. Here is our entrance onto the interstate. So I'm going to back off this car a little bit because I want you guys to be able to hear this engine and exhaust, and it does sound pretty good, strong, and smooth. So we'll get up here and come around. All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Holy crap, this thing is freaking fast. We're at 75. Wow. Wow, I was not expecting that. That was crazy. I mean, I knew it was powerful, but my Lord, I just did not expect that. All right, we're up to speed now, and that was fun. Okay, so we're at 37.5 miles driven, 156.5 miles per gallon. Of course, we're going to see that drop very, very quickly out here on the interstate, going 75. So once we get to our turnaround point, I'll give you guys another update, and then we'll turn around and head back in the other direction. All right, we're coming up on our turnaround point. If you look down there, you can see 50.3 miles and 65.2 miles per gallon. Okay, so here is our turnaround spot. Get off here. We'll pull in some regen coming down this ramp. There's not a whole lot of traveling going on, it looks like. Should be able to just pull up here, quick stop and go across and back down the other side and start our route back to the gas station. Yep, nothing here. Stop real quick and then we can go. All right. And we will cruise right across the interstate and go right back down the other side. Yep. See, not much traffic going on right now. And here we go. Get back down here and we'll accelerate like we did earlier. Now, I'm a little more prepared for it, so it won't scare me or freak me out so bad. That was, I just was not expecting that much power that quick. So we're getting down here. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. And 75. We're up to speed. That was that quick. It was that quick. That is amazing. This thing is a beast. Love it. Okay, so we are at 51.7 miles and 61.8 miles per gallon. Like I said, we were supposed to come in at, I believe, 46 miles per gallon at the end of this trip. Yes, 45.9 is what we should average by my calculations, and we'll see how close we are to that. All right, I will give you guys an update as we get off the interstate and head back into town. Coming up on our exit off the interstate. So far, we are at 64.4 miles and 48.9 miles per gallon. And I don't know if we're going to live up to that number that I came up with. Getting ready to go through town. We'll be able to take advantage of the hybrid and electric drive formats that will actually help with the gas mileage. So after we make a loop through this town, I will give you another update. We made the loop through town and we're getting back out onto the highway. So far, 72.5 miles and 46.9 miles per gallon. So we're doing well. We might actually hit that number that I came up with, or calculations that I came up with. So that's looking really good. All right, we're headed to our next town, so I will update you right when we get there. We have entered our last town, and right now we are at 94 miles and 41.2 miles per gallon. So we are off of my calculations, but you know, the EPA doesn't give us, you know, the combination rating. So I just had to use the calculations, which made sense. It is the right calculations, but it just is off. Plus, my calculations were based on 39 miles of electric range, which we only got 33 miles of electric range. So we'll just have to go by, you know, we just didn't get as good as what we could have because of the temperature outside and a cold battery, and that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to make a loop through this town, and then we're going to head back out on the highway and head to the gas station. So after the loop, I will give you another update. We made our loop through town, and we're back out on the highway headed to the gas station. So far, we are at 97.7 miles and 40.4 miles per gallon. So yeah, a little less than what I had calculated, but you know, that's just how it goes. You know, you don't get as much out of an electric battery when it's this cold outside. I'm sure we would have got to full 39 and probably more than that during the middle of the summer, but that's what real world is. We drive our cars all year round. So we're going to head back to the gas station. We'll get it filled up, and then we'll do some calculations and find out what our exact mile per gallon or real world mile per gallon is. All right, we made it back to the gas station, as you can see. And here are the final numbers for the car. 101.6 miles and 39.8 miles per gallon. All right, we'll get it filled up and we'll do the calculations and find out what the real world mile per gallon is. All right, we're gonna get it filled up right now, as we found out earlier that we have to put premium in here. So we're gonna do that right now. Okay, here we go, premium. All right. And we're going. All right, there we are, 2.536 gallons. All right, that's it there. We're gonna get our receipt, and then we'll get in the car and do some calculations, because it is freezing out here today. As we talked about earlier at the beginning of the video, the engine only is 31 miles per gallon. The electric mile per gallon equivalent is 74. So we can't just total those numbers and divide it by 2, because then it just kind of throws everything off. So there's a whole calculation with that, and using AI and some little help with how to compute that, we came up with 45.9 miles per gallon. Now that is based off of 39 miles of electric driving and 51 miles of engine only. Now, the problem with that is set up for 100 miles. So they total that up and that comes up to 100 miles. We went 101.6 miles, which is fine, because it still should come out with the same miles per gallon. It's just what we average. But we only got 33 miles out of the electric batteries because of it being 28 degrees outside. You just don't get as much out of a colder battery when we start than what you normally would get when it's 75 or 80 degrees outside. So that's where we think the numbers are going to be a little bit off. But again, that is real world. We drive these cars all year round. So this is still a good, viable, real world test. Just more for winter than it may be for midsummer. So calculator, we've got 101.6 miles, and we're going to divide that by the 2.53 gallons. And that gives us a total of 40.15 or 40.2. And the car says 39.8. So we're a little above what the car says, but still not quite what we would have gotten if we would have got 39 miles of electric. We probably would have been closer to the number that I came up with, but that's just not how it works. So the 2025 Volvo V60 T8 Polestar all-wheel drive edition is going to have a real-world mile per gallon average of 40.2. I do these tests with every car that I get, so that means a new car and a new video every single week. So make sure you guys hit subscribe so you don't miss any of those. Then click on the videos up on the screen. One of them is a review of this V60 Polestar, and the other one, YouTube thinks you're going to like. I think you'll enjoy both of them. So have a blessed day, and hopefully I see you in that next video.